I don't want anybody to, assume from this video that this is some sort of nihilistic rant that, it's fueled by depression or I don't know what else. This is purely derived from absolute logic and from general observations, okay? This is not a conclusion based on, emotion or spite. It's simple logic. But I think it is pretty much set in stone that we, are doomed as a species. We're done for, folks. It's over. It has been over for quite a while, right? And I don't know if I've coined this phrase, but I like it. It just rolls off the tongue so nicely. But, I believe we've outstayed our welcome on this planet. We don't belong here. Okay? We have no business being here. Okay? And of course, a lot of people who, might be NPCs, or there might be normies, or they might be naive, they will look at this video and assume, I'm just some sort of embittered maniac or whatever, right? Because they have never changed their perspective on things. And I think this is very important. Perspective is everything. You have to see everything from every angle. You just can't have blinders on and be stuck in your isolated bubble. You have to see everything from what it is. If you see everything from every angle, then you can make a all-inclusive estimation. I'm not the type of person to, I don't wish to live until I'm like 90 years old, but, the only reason I guess I would live long enough is to see, what future generations will be like. Because I don't think most people, the general population, I don't think most people have even considered the type of people they will produce and what kind of people those people will produce. So their children's children. How will they be? It's so interesting to me because even now, I can see it in people younger than me. I mean, and I don't want to attack all of the Zoomers in particular because, of course, even the millennials are, but can you imagine? Can you imagine what type of people? What type of people will be in the future? Let's say 20 years in the future. 40 years. 40 years in the future, bro. That's 2 generations. We're done for. We're done for. It should be said that, what we do here, and this is all about as a species, the nature of the thing. You can tell that we don't belong here simply by our actions, by our nature, because pretty much everything in nature, no matter how big or small, no matter what species it is, they find a way to to cohabit. They find a sort of balance or equilibrium with nature. It's something that a system which prohibits the system from crumbling, right? The balance is key, right? But when it comes to us as a species, to humanity, we're not like that, okay? Now, the question is, why would that be? Because, of course, this is not something that I came up with, but I like that example where we are like a virus, like a disease, like a cancer. We go from place to place. We consume all of the resources without compunction, and then move on to the next, to ravage, to pillage, to completely rape the area, you know, like a natural disaster, like a cataclysm. This is what humanity is. Humanity is a disease. And from what I understand, this has not always been the case. Back in the day, in tribal times, for allegedly, people found a way to, live in balance with nature. They took what they needed and they gave something back. Whereas in modern times, it isn't so. It's just simply, I don't even know what type of living this is. It's just me. Absolutely narcissistic, absolutely, just so self-absorbed. From what I understand, the corruption, if you want to call it that, happened, 10,000 years ago when agriculture started. That was the big point where apparently everything began to fall apart. Agriculture. People just standing in one place and just amassing things and amassing things. People, because they stood in one place, they didn't get to travel as often and as far and as wide. Therefore, because they remained in one place, they lost the love of the land. They lost the knowledge of the land. They became strangers to the land. They forgot about nature. And because they stood in one place, because they were so isolated, that is when it became all about me, and my needs, right? Instead of, if they went, out foraging, they might involve themselves in the forest and, to do whatever needs to be done, right? People lost all of that. And that is how people became so self-absorbed. So terribly self-absorbed. And because of this, they lost the truth of the matter, which is that we are only one part of a great whole. We are not it. We are not everything. We simply are here, and we must exist, in a sort of, balance with everything else. This is life is not about us, only about us. It's about everything, right? But we have the ability to consciously improve everything for the better, and we choose not to because of this me mentality, this corruption, this narcissistic, egotistical, corruption, and people think that, recycling will do something, will help the world, the planet, the universe. It won't. It won't. It's already far too late. It's over, folks. It's over. We are done. We are doomed as a species. It's over for us. And I would argue that's a good thing. That's a good thing, boy. Oh boy. Because the things that we do here, it's just something else. There's something about mankind that is so special. And I've talked about this before, but we have, and I've seen signs of this recently, like there's this inexplicable meanness, irrational, pure spite. For no reason whatsoever, people will hate you. People will want to harm you for no reason. Right? This is something sinister indeed. Okay? Not to mention all of the horrible, atrocious things that have been happening throughout history. All of the wonderful things that we've done here. And I keep saying this. I've been thinking about this because people generally assume that they're good people, right? And their families are they come from good, righteous, God-fearing people with good intentions. And I keep thinking, how do you think we have arrived here? what is the reason that we are here alive existing today? And it's not just because our parents fucked and their parents fucked and their parents fucked, you know? It is because our, bloodline in the past, they survived and they had the luxury to procreate because they were the most savage, brutal, merciless, bloodthirsty psychopaths there was. That is why we are here today, is because they were so ruthless, so feral, so brutal, so vicious. That is why we are here today, because our ancestors were absolute monsters and beasts. That is why we're here, because they got rid of all the competition and dominated the rest. That is why we're here. And I don't think that's something to be proud of. Ain't you proud of coming from psychopaths? I'm not. Right? So that is why we are here. Everybody that's not here is because their ancestors were weak and they got taken out. Okay? By our ancestors. Like, come on, folks. And not to mention all of the silly things that we created after we left the forest, the wilderness, all of the silly institutions, organizations, and bureaucracy, and politics, and religion, and all of these stupid, tax collection, tax revenue, what kind of people, what kind of people? Can you imagine? Our ancestors were so stupid, so gullible, so naive that they thought that this was it, that you had to stand in line for so long and talk to all of these bitter, sour people in booths, right? And bureaucracy and all of this stupid nomenclature and legislature and oh boy, and all of these creations in society to keep you occupied so that you do not think for yourself, so you do not engage in critical thinking. God forbid you thought for yourself for once and such a wonderful creation. Our ancestors thought, let's create the school system where, on average they produce mostly stupid, people who cannot think for themselves, who become obedient workers, who are mindless, right? Our ancestors thought that this was a good thing. And now, in the modern age, it's pretty much just memes and video games. And maybe some laugh compilations and anime and manga. This is what it is. This is what, modern society has to offer. A whole lot of cheap entertainment and a whole lot of just jerking around for nothing, right? So we are absolutely, without a doubt, cooked. Okay, we're doomed as a species, folks. And I would argue that is, a truly wonderful thing. It's about time. The time has come, and I think it was George Carlin who said, the comedian who said, if we, as a species, as a people, if we had any integrity, if we had any convictions, if we had any morality and ethics, we would stop reproducing and hold hands and just watch the sunset as the last generation of people. If we had balls, if we had any principles at all. But we don't. Of course we don't. So here we are, we keep on producing kids who keep getting dumber and dumber, who think that the only thing important in life is going to the gym and looks maxing, right? And mewing and such, and playing video games 24/7 and jerking off to memes. What will happen in 20 years, in 40 years, 40 years, 60 years, if we are still around? What kind of people, because, I'm not trying to sound superior. I'm no better than anybody, but I've noticed for a long time now, a lot of people, they just don't have, a conscience, a sort of, that place in their brain where guilt and regret reside. They don't have that. They don't have if they do something bad or shameful, they don't feel embarrassed. They don't feel shamed. It seems like something's missing. Like they're incomplete people. Right? And it will keep getting worse. It will devolve and just, it will just crumble to dust. Okay. And you can see this because of the lack of quality in people. You can see that all of these things that we rely on, all of the systems in place and all of the organizations and ideologies, slowly but surely, if you pay attention, they're all crumbling to dust. All of them. All of the things that you hold on to for dear life so you don't, maybe so you don't engage in existential dread. All of these things that you're so, that you depend on, all of these things are so slowly disintegrating before our eyes. And people are so asleep that they don't even notice. That's how bad it has gotten. And this is nothing by comparison to what will happen with the next generations. And this is not me being a boomer talking about them damn kids ain't got no principles, right? Man, it's over. It's over. Folks, it's over. People can't talk about anything else but being a Giga Chad and fucking, I don't know, looks maxing, going to the gym. The gym is the new church. Video games are the new God. And it seems like people are so dissatisfied that, at least online, they can't talk about anything else than busting nuts, right? And clapping cheeks and having their backs blown out to compensate for something they lack. I don't know what it is they lack. Because every time I go online, for whatever reason, this seems to be it. Generations of people, my age, younger, older, they can't stop talking about redundant stuff. Right? It seems like video games are the only thing that people can relate to. Like this, video games are the only thing that seem to have some sort of hold on people. They seem to think that video games are the cultural thing that binds people together as a species, as a group, right? Nothing else does this today. Okay, maybe anime, maybe a meme here and there. That's it. We're cooked. And these people, for whatever reason, will have kids, and their kids will have kids, and those kids will have kids. And wow, it will be something else to look at. It's just people just don't see the bigger picture. You got to see the bigger picture of all of this. You can't just live your life day to day based on these silly things. It can be, every time the Game Awards or, I don't know, the game announcements or whatever it's called, they pop up and everybody loses their minds. Right? It's just not right, folks. Something should change, but it will not change. Most people, the normies, the NPCs, the sleepwalkers who are on autopilot, they don't really see the bigger picture of life. the bigger picture of life and what a scam it is. You know, and because they're well off just enough that they don't have to worry about bills, they don't see any problem. Not really. Because you can look online on what topics they talk about, and it's just silly, goofy nonsense for children. Silly, goofy nonsense for children. Like, you know, everything, folks, is falling apart, crumbling by the seams before your very eyes. And we might see the end of all things in our lifetimes, and I hope we do, boy. What a laugh that will be. And I hope we do. But the thing is that most people, they can't see it. They won't see it. They refuse to admit to themselves the truth that everything is a lie. Everything is a scam. A charade. Right? And I know that these distractions and diversions, whatever they may be, doesn't matter what they are. I know they feel good for a while, and they make you feel safe and good and warm inside, but they won't last. See, these things are temporary, and there will come a day when you will not be able to jump to another safety blanket. One day you'll wake up and you'll find yourself that you will be alone, and you'll have nothing to be reliant upon. You won't be able to rely on anything. You will not be able to immerse yourself in something to ignore the pain, to ignore the crisis. So what will you do then? Right? Because most people, they want to live in this prison planet, whatever it is, simulation matrix, whatever it is. They want to continue on. They want to be, you know, happy NPCs. They want to just engage in silly nonsense and cheap entertainment in stupid gossip. Right? And they want to talk about whatever stupid distraction, like the woke, and I don't know what else. Right? And recently I've seen this expression, this word, become prominent. Cooked! We're cooked! He's cooked! Everybody's cooked! We're cooking! People don't understand the real significance of everything is cooked. Everything. And they're spending their time on silly, goofy nonsense. Silly, goofy nonsense. Okay? The Game Awards are cooked. That's nothing. That's nothing. Right? Star Wars is cooked. Disney is cooked. These are microbes in the grand scheme of things, folks. Right? And I see certain people who are so arrogant, who are so, you know, full of themselves because they are in a position of power and they're well off and they have influence. And I look at them and I only see ignorance. I only see the animal, the beast, who for some reason assumes that nothing bad will happen to them. No, this is not how the universe operates. This is not how nature operates. You can call it karma, you can call it God, the cosmos, I call it karma. Everybody, in some fashion or another, will get their just desserts in time. In time. This has been proven to me every single time. Okay? Undeniable. And people just don't understand what's really going on here. Right? Everything that has ever happened, all of the atrocities of this world that human beings have committed upon each other, they are accumulating as our collective nightmare. And we will have to face it one of these days. And it will be a disaster. You know? It will be a disaster. The accumulation of all our nightmares will will happen one day? What will happen one day when everything stops? When there will be no electricity, no technology, no internet, the water supply will be stopped. You have no idea. You have no idea what's gonna happen. In the near future, we're done for. We're cooked. Right? Last week, I went to a bar with some people and they just couldn't stop fingering their phones. And I thought, what will happen if they stop working? Will these people lose their minds? Right? People refuse to think. People refuse to accept the truth of the matter, of reality. Okay, that everything is an illusion and a delusion. We're done for. People, because they chase these silly, empty, hollow thrills. They don't understand that it is over. It has been over for a long time now. We're doomed. We're doomed. We're doomed as a species. And this is not I'm not trying to make you depressed or sad or trying to tell you to, unalive yourself. No, this should not be taken as a negative thing. I'm really happy that this is true. I'm happy that it has come true, the fact that we are doomed as a species. I like that. It makes me feel good that, all of the bad people that did all of the bad things and still do the bad things, they, despite being psychopaths, they still have that mammalian tendency to, my children, and I have to reproduce, and my seed, and my name, and being proud, my bloodline will continue. No, it won't, Sonny. No, it won't. Because we're done for, right? They cannot conceive of the fact that perhaps all of this was pointless from the beginning. And it was a bad joke, a prank even, played on us by the universe. They don't understand that. They don't understand that. And most importantly, they can't laugh at that. I find it hilarious. The fact that we are doomed as a species is so hilarious to me. It makes me really happy. Overjoyed, really. Right? And what I find most funny is that so many people are so invested in this. Everything we see, the material, and what we represent, that it seems like almost childish that people behave like children in a way. And they think that if I say these things that I'm saying now, that pretty much it's all an illusion, that you're occupying yourself with naive bullshit. They think that I'm a dark person. I'm mean. I'm not right. That boy just ain't right. Something ain't right with him. No, I'm trying to face the truth, to face the void, the abyss. This is the truth, folks. You live your life, you start getting sick, and you will be alone, and you'll die forever, and you'll die alone, and nobody will care, and you will be forgotten. And when every piece of evidence that you existed will crumble to dust, it will be as if you never even existed to begin with. And that will be all. That is our fate. Every single one of our fates. Okay? The only difference between you and me is that I've seen this and I've accepted this truth a long time ago, and I don't care. I don't care that I'm gonna disappear completely and nobody's gonna care and I'll be forgotten. So what? Right? And when I talk to somebody about this, they just lose their minds. Like, what am I such a downer for? Oh, this negativity. It's not negative if you have the maturity and the mind to accept what is right in front of you. Okay? I refuse to accept bullshit, and I refuse to be a hypocrite and pretend like life is such a amazing thing, bruh. You're like, what? You're depressed? Just work out, bruh. Just get a girl, bruh. And that will solve anything. Or everything. It won't solve anything. Nothing will help you or save you. right? But because you haven't been in a serious crisis where you were all alone and suffering and nobody gave a shit, and you were in the darkness alone, because you haven't experienced that, you think that life it ain't no biggie, cuz life doesn't care about you or me, right? When our species, when mankind will be gone for good, nature will move on. Life will move on. Everything will smooth out. And the only thing that will be heard will be the wind through the leaves of the forest. And maybe a river. And maybe a few birds chirping. And it will be quiet. As quiet as it can be. Okay? And finally, things will come back to normal in nature. Because mankind will not be there to ruin it any further. Okay? But that's about it. If you enjoy this content, if you want to support your boy, I got a few books on Amazon. The link will be down below. Thanks for watching. Think for yourself. See ya.